What is also true is that there are parts of Africa, particularly North Africa, but it's seeping down along the coasts where violent Islamic extremism has taken hold. And Somalia being a prime example where Al-Shabaab has been working for a long time. Boko Haram in Nigeria, Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb. And so we have to have a strategy to partner with those countries to ensure that our intelligence capabilities our rapid response capabilities, and their own capabilities for maintaining order and pushing back against extremism, that they are a lot stronger in the years to come. The good news is that these countries are eager for that kind of cooperation. Countries like Nigeria, countries like Kenya welcome our presence, welcome our training of their troops. We have excellent CT cooperation with them. The big problem they've got is capacity. But capacity is one of those things you can solve where you've got a willing partner. So we're working with the Joint Chiefs to develop plans so that we are continuing to build up partnership capabilities across the continent. And that will help us not only with homegrown problems inside of Africa, but those platforms then also allow us to act more effectively against deeply rooted organizations. Like Al-Qaeda on the peninsula in Yemen, because that's right across the ocean, and we want to be able to make sure that we can target those terrorist networks effectively. Having African partners helps us do that. Moderator Perry, Mr. President, We're hoping to squeeze in at least one more question. President Obama, come on. Moderator Perry, excellent. Because I promised you earlier, we have viewers out at sea in fact. That's where Petty Officer Laurie Bent is going to take us now. Moderator Bent, and what do you know, this sailor is going to take you out to sea for your next question, Mr. President. This is coming from the deployed USS Theodore Roosevelt. And on the phone, we have Petty Officer Joseph Everett. Petty Officer Everett, you are on the line. Go ahead. Petty Office Everett, good afternoon, Mr. President. I'm Petty Officer Joseph Everett calling you from the Theodore Roosevelt. I just want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me. President Obama, hey, Joe. Petty Office Everett, I'm very honored to have this opportunity. President Obama, hold on, Joe, we're having trouble hearing you here. Slight technical difficulties. But if somebody can hear, they can repeat the question to us. Moderator Perry, Petty Officer Everett, would you like to try that question again? Petty Office Everett, good afternoon, Mr. President. This is Petty Officer Joseph Everett calling you from the Theodore Roosevelt. I just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity today, and I'm very honored. President Obama, Well, I can hear you just fine now, Joe. And tell everybody on the ship we appreciate them, hope they get back home safe. You got a question for us? Petty Office Everett, yes, Mr. President. During your presidency, you've had a lot of great experiences. What would you say is your most rewarding? President Obama, wow. Well, that's a big question. I tell you that there are different kinds of rewarding experiences. Obviously, in this office. But across the board, what ends up being most rewarding for me is when somebody comes up to me in a rope line when I'm appearing someplace or at some event, and they say, "Mr. President, you help me." I've had moms come up and say, "Mr. President, my son, who's 25 years old, didn't have health insurance when you passed that law to make sure that he could stay on my health insurance." He finally got a checkup after 3, 4 years. They found a tumor, but they were able to get it out in time and now he's doing fine, and I appreciate it. Or we have White House tours of wounded warriors, and once this wonderful couple was there. Both the husband and wife were service members. They had two adorable little kids. And as I was coining them and shaking their hands, one of them said, the wife said, "I just want to thank you because you saved our family." Because the husband had had PTSD but wasn't getting help, and she had written to us and I had had folks at Dodd reach out. And he had gotten counseling and now was doing well and the family was thriving. A lot of times, this stuff seems abstract. And there's just a bunch of folks talking on television and it all seems like politics and arguing. But one of the things that you learn the longer you're in this is that these decisions matter. And you're touching people directly in some kind of way. And when you hear that something you did actually helped, then you say to yourself, all right, this was worth it, this was a good day. And I know that everybody here feels that same way. There are going to be frustrations in our work. There are going to be challenges in our work. Many of you operate in obscurity, and people don't always say thank you. But then every once in a while, you see that, all right, what I did helped. Made a difference. Somebody is safer. Somebody who was hungry has eaten. Somebody whose home was destroyed, now they've got shelter. Somebody whose village had been overrun, now they've got a chance at some security. And some freedom. And that's what keeps you going. That's what inspires you. So those are the most gratifying moments of my presidency. And the plane is cool. And Marine One. I don't want to leave the Marines out. Moderator Perry, well, Mr. President, we know one of those challenges is that you do have other obligations and time constraints. I want to thank you on the part of defense media activity, our soldiers, sailors. Marines, and airmen across the world, and the Coast Guard. And we are representing the Coast Guard here as well. Thank you. And if you have any final remarks for us. President Obama, I just want to say thank you to all of you. And to your family members for your extraordinary service. What you do is vital to our way of life. It is vital our country. I started off talking about 9/11 and how shaken all of us were, and angry and frustrated, and moved by it. But when you travel to New York now, there's a new tower soaring in the sky. And those first responders, the cops, and the firemen and the EMTs. A lot of them are still serving and still doing great work every day. And it's just a good reminder of the essential spirit of the American people. We don't always get things perfect the first time. There are times where we take a hit. There are times where, unfortunately, we have self-imposed problems because of politics or conflicts inside our own country. Our political system is not always serving people the way it should. One of the things that we haven't had a chance to talk about is the fact that Congress has a budget that it's supposed to be passing at the end of this month. And we've been operating under what's called a sequester, which is hampering our ability to finance the kind of readiness. And modernization and research and development and support for our troops that's needed. It's also preventing us from funding education and job training and infrastructure that is vital for our long-term economic competitiveness. I hope Congress is paying attention to how you operate and how you do your job, because if they were as conscientious about it and selfless about it, then that sequester would be lifted. And we would end up being in a position where we could make the investments we need to stay strong, militarily and economically. So we've got challenges. But just think about how we bounced back from 9/11. From the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression. America is the strongest, the most prosperous and the most diverse country on earth. And the 21st century is being shaped by our ideas of the internet and of international trade and free markets. And the reason for all of that is because of our people. Sometimes we hear about all the bad stuff that's going on, especially during political season. But America is strong. And it's strong because of all of you. And I never want you to forget that. You should be very proud of what you do. And very proud of the people that you represent in uniform every single day, because this country is full of good, generous, hard-working people, and they rely on you. And they are grateful to you. All right. Tell your families I said hi back home. Thank you, everybody. Moderator Perry, ladies and gentlemen, our Commander-in-Chief. President Obama, thank you. Appreciate it. Barack Obama.